Joining me now to discuss today's meetings more is Ian Hurd, the director of the Weinberg Center for International and Area Studies at Northwestern University. Ian, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Ian, we just heard Joe talk about how some see it as an existential threat and how it's in our benefit to fund Ukraine. This is one of Zelensky's rare trips away from Ukraine since Russia invaded his country more than 18 months ago. And the second trip to Washington, a government shutdown is also looming. Can he be successful in rallying support at this time?
Yes, he can. Zelensky is very effective at making the case that Russian military aggression is putting millions of regular people at risk and is a big danger to his country and to its neighbors. So he makes a very strong case. He's very good at showing how the costs of Russian aggression are being paid by the Ukrainian people, and that there's only one way to resist that, as far as he knows.
Dr. Hurd, why isn't that message translating or being felt with the American people who may be having some resistance? And National Security Council spokesman John Kirby called the Ukrainian president our best messenger in persuading lawmakers and to keep vital U.S. money and weapons coming. What do you think will ultimately be the outcome from today?
Well, I think the message is resonating strongly. There are strong majorities in both houses in the U.S. For continuing this support. There's strong majorities in both parties. Really, there's just a small radical wing of the Republican Party that's looking to interfere with that bipartisan agreement. And there really aren't very many of those people, but they do get a lot of attention since they're rather loud.
One of the arguments has been made that it's best to fund Ukraine in this war because if they can help us defeat an enemy, it is to the U.S.'s benefit. Now, the U.S. has been one of the biggest backers of the Ukrainian effort, approaching $113 billion, with President Biden asking Congress for another $24 billion. But Republicans are now opposing continued assistance. Can the U.S. keep giving out this money and writing these blank checks?
It certainly can. The amount that the U.S. is sending to Ukraine is really just a small piece of the military budget in the U.S., which is something like $1 trillion a year. So the U.S. can certainly afford to do it. The real challenge is the fact that it's Russia's aggression in Ukraine that sort of sets the tempo and the scale of the problem. So there's not much hope for relief until the Russian government decides that it's not interested in investing so much in making lives miserable for people in Ukraine. And we don't have any control over that. That's up to Putin and his political supporters.
18 months in, and it doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. Dr. Hurd, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.